Everyone says you'll know. That when the right person walks in, something inside you will shift. Something ancient. Something certain. But here's what no one tells you. Some people walk down the aisle completely aware, fully, painfully aware, that what they feel isn't love. And they smile anyway. They say, I do, anyway. They build an entire life anyway. And the question that should keep you awake tonight isn't how they did it. It's why. We are raised inside a story. Love leads to marriage. Marriage leads to stability. Stability leads to belonging. And belonging means you made it. Society doesn't just teach us to marry. It teaches us to fear what happens if we don't. The empty table. The unanswered phone. The slow horror of being left behind while everyone else moves forward. Psychologically, this is not a small pressure. It is decades of conditioning. Layered. Quiet. Invisible, until someone stands at an altar and realizes, in the silence between vows, that they are not here for love. They are here because they were terrified of what they would be without this. But the frightening part is this. It's rarely that simple. Rarely that cold. Most people who marry without love don't know they are doing it. They've confused something else for love so many times that they genuinely can't tell the difference anymore. Safety feels like love. Familiarity feels like love. Not being alone feels like love. Someone choosing you, after years of people walking away, that can feel so much like love that the heart can't tell the truth from the story it's telling itself. And this is where everything changes. Because the problem isn't that these people are lying to their partner. The deepest wound is that they are lying to themselves. Psychologically, what drives this comes from somewhere much older than the relationship itself. Attachment theory tells us that people with anxious or avoidant attachment patterns often select partners based not on connection, but on regulation. This person calms the anxiety. This person doesn't trigger the old wounds. This person is safe. And when you've spent your whole life emotionally unsafe, safe feels like everything. There is also something called emotional settling, a subconscious decision made not out of weakness, but out of exhaustion. People who have been hurt enough eventually stop chasing what feels electric and start reaching for what feels manageable. And beneath all of it, there is fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of starting over. Fear that if they wait for something that truly moves them, nothing will ever come. That they are not the kind of person who gets to be chosen by love. Only by convenience. So they choose convenience first. And call it enough. Some of you know exactly what this feels like. Not because you've done it. But because you've watched it happen. A parent. A friend. Someone who seemed fine on the surface but whose eyes, when unguarded, held something hollow. Or maybe, you are the person. Maybe you are in something that looks correct from every angle but feels quiet in a way that never quite leaves you. Not wrong enough to leave. Not right enough to feel full. What many people fail to realize is that this isn't a character flaw. It is the result of wounds that were never healed, wounds that taught you that love is either too dangerous or too uncertain to trust. And so the mind builds a life it can control. Even if it's a life their heart never chose, perhaps the deepest tragedy isn't the marriage itself. It's the slow unraveling that follows. Two people sharing a home, a name, a bed, and yet separated by something that was never spoken. A silence that sits between them every morning. A hunger that neither one knows how to name. The poet Rumi once said that what you seek is also seeking you. But what happens when you stopped looking? When you convinced yourself that what you found was close enough? There is a version of your life built around what you settled for. And there is a version built around what you were willing to wait for. The distance between those two lives is not measured in years. It is measured in the moments just before sleep, when the noise goes quiet, and something inside you, very gently, asks if this is really what you meant to choose. That question is not your enemy. It might be the most honest thing you have ever felt.